It's quiet, it's safe, it's a family atmosphere.
Danielle Bailey Lash grew up in Walnut Cove, North Carolina. The tranquil town of just over 1,000 people sits right along picturesque Ballew's Lake.
The lake, that was a big reason to move into this area?
Dream location, it had everything that we needed, and the price was right.
The price was right because just over those trees is the Ballew's Creek Steam Station, one of Duke Energy's largest coal-burning power plants. And one of the realities of coal-burning plants is that you need a place to dispose of the waste. And that traditionally has meant coal ash ponds, like this. It may look like a beautiful lake, but it is basically an unlined pit in the ground with millions of tons of ash. Mercury, cadmium, arsenic, contaminants associated with cancer, right in Danielle's backyard. In 2009, Danielle began experiencing headaches.
And I went to the hospital, and they told me that I had a brain tumor. And they weren't lying. They said it was the size of a drink box, right over here.
Can I take a look again?
Sure.
She was diagnosed with stage 3 astrocytoma, brain cancer.
What do you think caused all this?
I'm 100% sure I know what caused it. And that's Duke Energy.
Of course, that is impossible to know for certain. Her doctors can't say. There have been too few studies to make any conclusions. But I wanted to see the water myself.
This is the beautiful Catawba River. These waters travel from the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains some 400 miles out to the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. All along the way, you're going to see these coal-powered plants, as this one you see right over here behind me here. Some have called this river the most electrified river in America as a result. And with those plants, you see coal ash ponds. And that's a concern because if there is seepage from these coal ash ponds into the river, or the river becomes inundated with contaminants because of a break in the dam, that would devastate the drinking water for some 2 million people living in this area.
Riverkeeper Sam Perkins is giving me a tour of what he calls the capital of coal ash.
You're looking up about 100 feet that has built up over the years holding back all that ash.
How safe is it?
That's Earth. You have freezing, thawing, expansion, contraction, and you have dam safety issues.
In fact, in 2008, a break in the dam at a Tennessee Valley Authority power plant inundated the surrounding area with over 1 billion gallons of ash and sludge. In early 2014, a corroded pipe at Duke's Dan River Station here in North Carolina released up to 39,000 tons of coal ash into nearby waters. More than 3 years later, the state still warns against eating some of the fish because of high mercury levels.
We quickly sprung into action to not only address what was happening at that particular site.
I met up with Duke Energy's Aaron Colbert at one of their sites.
We also set up an entire task force to review all of our other facilities and make sure we didn't have that kind of risk anywhere else.
And can you say for sure that you do not?
We can't say for certain we've got every pipe, but I can say for certain that we have grouted many, many, many pipes that would be allow any chance of risk from the basins.
If you don't know where all these pipes are, we don't know what's risky, what's not risky.
You know, we can chase pipes all day long, but the ultimate way of making sure that we have safe closure is to remove the water and close these basins in a way that's federally approved by the EPA, and that's what we're really working to do here.
In 2015, the EPA did finally take action and began requiring straightforward measures. Test the groundwater, close contaminating coal ash ponds, place future waste in basins that have linings. Measures that Murray Energy lobbied against back in March of 2017. Murray's lobbyist, the new acting EPA chief, Andrew Wheeler.
I did work for a coal company, and I'm not at all ashamed of the work that I did for the coal company.
According to documents and photos obtained by CNN, Wheeler arranged a meeting between his boss, Bob Murray, CEO of one of the country's largest coal mining companies, and Energy Secretary Rick Perry. They presented the secretary with an action plan for, quote, reliable and low-cost electricity, a plan that included rewriting coal ash regulations. That same plan was also sent to the EPA, the organization Wheeler now runs.
The EPA is in a rush to do things that it will benefit these coal ash utilities, purely because of the influence of their trade associations and their lobbyists.
And this week, the first set of proposed rule changes were finalized. Among the changes, groundwater no longer needs to be monitored if the plant can prove that it is not polluting the aquifer. Our request to speak with Administrator Wheeler was declined. In a statement provided by the EPA, he said, quote, "Our actions mark a significant departure from the one-size-fits-all policies of the past and save tens of millions of dollars in regulatory costs." Duke Energy is steadfast that testing has shown that none of the coal ash contamination has reached public groundwater.
Testing continues to demonstrate that coal ash operations are not impacting private wells.
It's something Danielle has heard before. But when you live next to a coal plant and an ash pond, even if it is your dream home, you're always living in a bit of fear.
It was the dream. We're still paying for that dream, unfortunately, but I'll have to dream somewhere else.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, Charlotte, North Carolina.